This morning, groups of faith leaders are also gathering in Texas and Florida, two other states where ICE has murdered people in the last week. In Texas, they are remembering Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. In Florida, they are remembering Juan Jairo Cornea Duran. And here in Maine, we are remembering Johann Sebastian Guerrero. I'd ask for a moment of silence as we remember all three of these innocent victims. Together, clergy in our three states, with guidance from our partners in Minnesota, who have shared wisdom with us from their experiences following the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, we're speaking out and calling for an end to ICE violence. Today we will be hearing from 4 Maine faith leaders, and after all 4 of them have spoken, I'll moderate a time for questions from the press before all of the clergy gathered here will close with a song. Fritz Weiss is our first speaker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Fritz Weiss. I'm a Quaker from Portland Friends Meeting. I use he/him pronouns. I'm also a docent at that beautiful lighthouse back there. We are standing here with that lighthouse behind us that has been guiding ships into Portland Harbor for 130 years. Over there is House Island. House Island had an immigrant welcome center, an immigrant quarantine center actually, in the earliest 20th century. It's referred to as the Ellis Island of the North. Please be reminded by these historical sites that we have been welcoming immigrants into this harbor, into Maine, and into this country for over 300 years. It's not a clean history, but it's consistently history. We have been welcoming people onto this land where they can feel safe, where they can find a home, where they can raise a family, and where they can prosper. Our faith requires of us that we welcome the immigrant. It requires of us that we welcome the stranger. It requires of us that we let them know that they are valued and that they belong and that they are our neighbors. But more important than our faith requiring that of us, it requires of us to tell that to our immigrant communities, to our neighbors, to our friends who have been experiencing violence and fear and trauma. To tell them that we value you and we are profoundly ashamed of that violence. And we want you here and you are our neighbors. To return to the lighthouse, it guides ships in with its light. Its light flashes every 6 seconds. There's a lot of details about the lighthouse I could share with you. But it guides ships in with its light into the harbor. And if it's too dark or too foggy, it guides ships in to the harbor with its fog bell or its fog horn. We, as people of faith, are called to be the light in the world, to illuminate what is real, what is happening, to illuminate the pain that is there, but also to show the way. And if it's too foggy and too dark and too confused, we are required to be the fog bell. We are required to be the trumpet. We are required to speak stubbornly, clearly, and loudly. We must remember Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero and his murder. And we can be clear that our faith, that our experience of spirit requires that we mourn and that we insist that this illegal and immoral violence cease and that the dignity and humanity of all be celebrated. Deeply faithful people are called to know the pain, not just to see the pain, not just to name the pain, to know the pain. My friend Reverend Tara told us that they are tired of making their congregations cry. It's also our responsibility to know the despair and to know the promise. And that promise to our immigrant friends is that this is your home. You belong here. We value you. May it be so.
Amen. You know it's serious when a Quaker says it's time to speak and speak loudly.
Yeah.
Next, we'll be hearing from the Reverend Sarah Ewing Merrill. She is the founder of the Greater Portland Multi-Faith Clergy Organizing Group and the lead pastor of Hope Gateway Church in Portland.
I prefer the title instigator. I am Sarah Ewing Merrill. I use she, her pronouns, and it's SARAEWING-MERRILL. As faith leaders, we are here today because of the biblical declaration, "You shall not oppress a stranger."
Right.
You may have seen these words on the quilted sign above the memorial along the fence at Mechanics Park in Biddeford. When I saw them, they stopped me in my tracks. Because that is what we have done, and what we are doing as a country, oppressing strangers. It's that simple. Our federal government is oppressing anyone who gives off any signals that they might possibly have been born somewhere else other than the U.S. Or the even lower bar that someone might have more melatonin than someone like me. We are here as faith leaders to say we will not stand by quietly. We will not stand by while people are murdered on our streets by federal agents whose identities are shielded by our government. We will not stand by while people are kidnapped at gunpoint on our streets by masked men. Last week, Senator King and 38 other senators wrote to the Department of Homeland Security, and I quote, "The recent fatal shootings involving DHS officers, specifically within ICE in Biddeford, Maine and Houston, Texas, coupled with similar incidents elsewhere in the country, are completely unacceptable. Rather than making our communities safer, these actions endanger our citizens and seriously undermine confidence in law enforcement generally. We are grateful for Senator King's clarity and advocacy. We are also grateful that Senator Collins took action to convince DHS to cease ICE vehicle stops that led to the recent deaths of Johann Sebastian in Maine, Lorenzo in Texas, and Juan Hiro in Florida. But the fleetingness of her power was revealed when President Trump demanded reinstatement of vehicle stops as a central ICE tactic only hours later. We call for an end to vehicle stops because they endanger our communities. And we call our Senator Collins to not quietly forfeit this issue to Trump. 3 new ICE out of Maine laws will take effect next week on July 29th. These draw hard lines to keep ICE out of policing, schools, and state health care. The third law outlaws landlords from sharing tenant information with ICE. As Mainers, we will stay vigilant to ensure these laws are followed. We will take care of each other. We claim Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero as our fellow Mainer. He might have been from Colombia, but he was one of ours. We mourn his death not as a death of a stranger, but as one who walked our streets, who drove our roads, and played an essential role in our community.
Now we will hear from Dr. Imam Abdullahi Ahmed, a Muslim community leader actively engaged in serving the community through Masjid al-Huda, the Islamic Society of Portland, Maine.
My name is Abdullahi Ahmad, Abdullahi, and last name Ahmad, Ahmed. And first and foremost, I would like to say greetings, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you very much for inviting us to be part of this gathering. As so far, I'm sure that some of you understood from my accent, I myself was an immigrant. I came to this country 26 years ago as a refugee. And in the Islamic tradition, we have immigration as part of our religion. Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Moses, when he and the Israelis were oppressed in Egypt, he migrated with his people to safety, to better life. Prophet Muhammad sent his companions to Habasha or Abyssinia, where there was a Christian king, Najashi, and he said, go there, there is a just king who is Ahlul Kitab, means the people of the book. So the people who came to this country, and people who are coming to this country, I want all of us to imagine someone who is where they were born, where they were being raised, but all of a sudden, because of the circumstances, they want to leave friends, family, everyone back, the land that they knew, the topographics that they knew, the weather that they knew, and said, I am going to a new place. And this place, it's an honor for the people who were here, that the people who are not finding a refuge can come and say, I want to be your neighbor. It is a lot of privilege and the trust that they have. For me, I crossed so many countries, and I took my shoes off in Maine, and I said I will be here. And that it is not because I am falling in love with the cold weather at times, but the people who are here made me think and say, these are the people that I can forge a common future. Despite our different histories and backgrounds, these are the people that I can create a community with them. These are the people that I want my children to be with them in here. So as a Muslim community, we mourn the lives that are being lost, and we want appeal to the community again, that despite our differences and in our backgrounds, we can come together and build a common future. That's my appeal to the community. And there are some challenges that are going on, and these challenges are tests. We are tested, but people who are tested, I want to remind us that we are up to the test. So we say in Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we will be testing you. But la yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah will not put you something that you were not up to. So we are up to, let's come together and make a community, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better community. Thank you.
Wow.
Finally, the Reverend Jared Kerbal, who is the rector of St. John's Episcopal Church in Bangor, will speak. And when he has concluded his remarks, I'll moderate a time for questions for our speakers from the press.
The Reverend Jared Kerbal, Jarrett-Kerbel. Pronouns are he and him. The Kerbal family arrived in this country in 1902 through Ellis Island. The Kerbal children arrived here in 98 and 99 from Guatemala. Every future Kerbal will be a person of color. This is personal for me. My kids drive around in Maine with their passports, U.S. passports. They are U.S. citizens, but they do not feel safe. And neither should they. You have heard these wonderful religious leaders speak up and speak out the truth. And have no doubt that these religious leaders speak for the majority of the American people. They are not alone. They are not idealists. They are speaking from the outraged, moral majority of Americans in this country who do not want masked death squads in our country, who do not want masked death squads killing, abducting, disappearing our neighbors and sending them to concentration camps like some tin pot dictatorship. The vast majority of Americans are against the chaotic, sadistic, and racist aggression against our neighbors. The American people have spoken, and we are simply amplifying what they are saying today. The American people are choosing solidarity with our neighbors. They are choosing compassion for our neighbors. When our immigrant neighbors are attacked, we are attacked. When our immigrant neighbors are attacked and living in fear, we are living in fear. When the hearts of our immigrant neighbors right here in Biddeford are breaking, our hearts are breaking. We are choosing solidarity, we are choosing compassion, and we are choosing the right vision of America. America is immigration, and immigration is America. The two are inseparable, and always have been, and always will be. Our faith is that what is good about America will defeat what is wrong about America right now. So we are calling to action all of our neighbors, people of faith, people of no faith, people of every faith, to be on guard, vigilant, and active. We can observe that when ICE murders an immigrant or a protester, we get active. And that's good. We should. We should raise our voices in protest and agony and heartbreak. However, every day, ICE detains, disappears 2,000 American immigrants. Every day. To horrific concentration camps run by businesses with no accountability. The call to action, as far as I'm concerned, is daily action, daily vigilance, daily neighborhood watching, neighborhood building to protect our neighbors from the ICE threat. This is an all-hands-on-deck situation, and every American needs to respond. Every Mainer needs to respond. We cannot trust Senator Collins to keep intensity on this issue, so we must keep intensity on her. We must force her to lead if she will not choose to lead. Every day, vigilance, action, in support of our neighbors who are under threat. That is our call to action today. Thank you.